Cancel.
Schweezy.
Okay, so it's now time I go over this BuzzFeed article that I found on the internet, and I'm going to go over right now. I have like a burp in me I had to get out. This is the content you guys sign up for. Anyways, though, I also realized that I was using like a Google Chrome to go over these BuzzFeed articles on my iPad. For the watchers out there, you'll see that I go over it on my iPad. I realized I could just download the app, and if people judge me for having the app, I can say it's for work, and I can show these receipts as work. Anyways, though, let's go over this. This article today I don't want to go over. 42 controversial opinions millennials secretly agree with, even if they are incredibly unpopular. Now, I'm a millennial, 93. Some people say, well, you're at the tail end of millennials. Shut the fuck up. Why are we fucking gatekeeping being a millennial? You're born in the years to be a millennial. I grew up in the 90s when basically by 2000, I was getting ready to turn 7. Shut the fuck up. Fuck you. I'll see you later. Anyways, we got a lot of these to go over, so let's not be stingy with these. First one, face was not cute. Face was actually terrifying. See, one thing I will say with face, though, is that we didn't have flat screens, high definition. If anything, wasn't it 360p? Isn't that CRTs or 480? Because there was a time that 480 was high definition. I was alive during the time when 480 was high definition television. Now I'm like, if I have to look at this video in 720p, I'm going to kill myself. But I think the idea that I was able to look at face in like 360p on CRT, where it's very pixelated, I think it made it a little bit easier for my young mind. I know, like, it is weird though. Like, you go to you play a video game nowadays, and you play an old game on like a high definition monitor or whatever. And you're like, ugh, that does not look good. And you're like, yeah, but if you put it on a CRT, it looks okay. Like, it's not that bad on a CRT. But like, you put it in I have like a 1440p monitor I look at things on, and things look okay. So I never thought face was that bad. Apparently, some people didn't like face. You know what? That's okay. You don't have to like face. Face will do fine without you. Furbies were more creepy than cool. They are dark-sided. Okay, well, I get it. I get it. However, I still want a Furby. And like, I went on eBay once, and it was like old Furbies, and they were overpriced. I bet there was new Furbies, but I don't know if I wanted a new Furby. I wanted an old Furby. So like that. I don't know. I think Furbies were more made for women than men, or at least that's how my parents put it. And they got a gay son. So, and congratulations, they got a gay son. The soundboard is my iPad, so we don't get that soundbite right now. So like that. I liked Furbies. People were like, there's a camera built in them. Like, you could take the Furby apart and see if there's a camera inside. Like, that technology wasn't that good. Nowadays, you can put like hidden cameras and shit. Even like cheap hidden cameras, like, quality isn't that good. Linus Tech Tips recently did a video, by maybe a couple months, that like he's looking for like a car dash cam, because I think a car dash cam is a good idea, and I should probably invest in one. But like, the idea of a car dash cam is, one, if you're like an Uber driver or whatever, you're documenting what happened in a wreck or whatever. Was it my fault? Was it their fault? Yada yada yada. And then some part where it was like, if it was a hit and run, you couldn't make out a license plate in the camera. These are like modern day $100 cameras that you would use as a dash cam. I can't imagine that fucking technology was perfected with Furbies. Okay, that technology we can't visually see a license plate on modern dash cams that are like effective. That technology 100% was not in a Furby. So maybe we should calm the shit down about that. Animaniacs was better than Tiny Toon Adventures. Yeah, isn't that mutually agreed upon? Like, didn't Tiny Toon Adventures has not gotten a reboot. Animaniacs has had a reboot. Animaniacs was so good. I loved watching Animaniacs. Like, the Warner siblings. It's like Warner Brothers is like that, and I think right now in regards to Warner Brothers, like makes a lot of sense. It makes a lot of sense. Oh yeah, and they had the Warner siblings, and then they had Pinky and the Brain. The chaotic part of Pinky and the Brain is like remembering the episodes you watch, and it was like a human body, but it was Brain's head sticking out of it. I'm like, who the fuck is that fooling? And like, I think Pinky was also a mastermind behind that. Let's not like take out Pinky. Pinky was also chaotic in those situations as well, so we're not gonna let Pinky off the hook just yet. Pizza rolls are way better than pizza bagels. Yeah, isn't that mutually agreed upon? Maybe I am a millennial who agreed. Maybe I'm the millennial they chose for this. Maybe I'm the one who chose it. Like, I was just like, yeah, I don't think Face was that creepy. Besides that, though, I've been agreeing with a lot of this shit. Maybe I'm the pure millennial. I'm like a young millennial. That's the problem. You hear things elder millennials like, and then I see that, I'm like, I kind of agree with some of those. No, pizza rolls are way better than pizza bagels. Pizza bagels are good, though. I'm not going to say they're not good. But, like, see, okay, I have to admit this. I don't know what's wrong with me. It could be a touch of autism, but I'm not sure. Like, if you get pizzas with those little, tiny square pepperonis, like, I think they're gross. I don't know why. There's something, I think one got caught in my throat once, and just made me gross. But, like, pepperoni is, like, my favorite meat. I'll put pepperoni on all this. My Philly cheesesteak, my perfect, if the city of Philadelphia wants to make my own cheesesteak, it'd be, steak, pepper jack cheese, pepperoni. So I love pepperoni. However, like the little square pepperonis, I don't know. I think I had one stuck in my throat once, and I've just like mentally. I have a weird thing with food. If you haven't noticed yet, remember last week when I almost threw up when I talked about a woman shitting on chicken nuggets and eating them. Somehow I'm not throwing up right now. Anyways, though, yeah, I love cheese pizza rolls. It was so funny. In Nashville, I went to Franklin. Franklin's where a lot of rich people live, and they were having some like Thanksgiving potluck kind of thing. And every time I go to a Thanksgiving potluck, I usually always go to them. I always bring pizza rolls to those. And I had to talk to one rich person. I've never had a pizza roll before. I'm telling you, it's the best. Anyways, though, pizza rolls are awesome, and you should eat pizza rolls. Pizza rolls don't get generic. Totino's is already cheap. Don't get like the off brand of that. That shit. That's weird. No, don't get that. These are gross. And for the audio only listeners, it's like the candy. It's like a soda candy, but they're different colors. There's on going left to right here: blue, red, orange, yellow, and green. There's like these soda candies. I really don't know how to describe it unless you see it yourself, because it's just one of those candies that like you have to look at. Usually, I don't know. I grew up in the Midwest, so I went to Casey's, and you see Casey brand candies that look just like that. And as a friend texts me, hopefully I don't remember to take that out. Well, no, those are just a meme. Yeah, no, I never liked those either. Like there's like hamburger gummy candy too. I never liked those. I want to tell you this. I was old enough to remember cigarette gum candy in stores when they sold those. It was like, I lived in the time where they're like, maybe we shouldn't sell these to kids and stuff like that. Anyways, though, whoever smokes, it's whatever. Doug was better than Rugrats. What's that? I've never tried to decide between Rugrats and Doug. Now, I think there was the Doug movie, and I think that was done by Disney, and most people are like, I watched Doug. I haven't watched Doug in a long time. Peppermint Patty. I know that Doug wants to bone her, but like her voice kind of annoys me. I'm sorry. But I remember I watched the Doug movie a lot with like the swamp monster. I remember renting that a couple times. It was weird how like my mom, like we would just rent a movie a couple times instead of my mom would be like, let's just fucking buy this movie. My mom was like, I think we probably rented Harry Potter and the Chamber of Secrets at least 5 times before I just actually got the movie, on DVD. And I think I still have that DVD. I have them all on digital now. That's what. Never mind. But like Doug's better than Rugrats. I mean, I watched Doug more than Rugrats, to be honest with you. Doug also had like Skeeter. If you're watching right now, Skeeter was like jade bluish. If you know what I'm trying to say. It's like a combination of blue green, kind of like in between it, you know. And someone's like, he's a black person, and I was like, oh, I didn't notice that. I grew up. I guess I grew up and we're like, don't hate black people. And I was like, okay, black people, it's just skin tone, But then there's the cultural stuff, which I was not taught, and now I realize. And Hey Arnold was the best Nicktoon period. Now, a couple weeks ago, we went over when Arnold beat up a guy and all his clothes fell off, and he just felt really bad. I just wanted to know where the bus stop. That made me sad. Or Hey Arnold. I mean, if we think about Hey Arnold as in, like, storylines, like how intense some of the stories were, like Arnold's parents, like, died on a safari or something like that. There was one episode, like, Gerald moved into Arnold's home, which was like apartment complex, boarding house. That's what it's called. Where I mean, I guess I don't, out of my education line, I don't know how to describe it, but it was like everyone has their own little apartment, and then they eat meals together. I don't know how that's weird to me. There's like Mr. Kafka, who was like a failure at existing. He's like, why does my wife leave me? I'm like, maybe because you're a fucking dumbass. And then Arnold had a cool fucking room. It was like all windows. I'm like, that has to be hot as balls in the summer. Oh yeah, one Gerald moved into the boarding house, and then he's like, oh yeah, living as an adult fucking sucks. Some of those Hey Arnold episodes were intense. But I think if I go back to it as an adult now and think like how these stories were written, yeah, they were pretty fucking intense and probably very well written. So, I don't know. Yeah, I mean, like SpongeBob, I like first 3 seasons of SpongeBob S tier, but I think Hey Arnold, I agree with this. Yeah, I'll agree with this. Hey Arnold was pretty good. Spice Girls are more iconic than the Beatles. See, I like the Spice Girls, and I'm gonna admit something that everyone's gonna hate me after I hear. But I was never into the Spice Girls as a kid. I just, was it Spice Mania or whatever, or the Spice Girl shit. I was just, just not into it. Maybe it was just because I was a young child. But the Spice Girls, I like the Spice Girls. I'll stand up for the Spice Girls, for the haters, but like, I was an NSYNC kid. I'm sorry. Sorry for all you out there who didn't know. Say You'll Be There is the best Spice Girls song. I'll agree with that. Yeah, that's a great song. The weird thing about the Spice Girls is like Baby Spice. I'm like, why am I supposed to be attracted to a Baby Spice? Like, why would you make your whole personality like, I'm a baby? I'm like, okay, we need to stop that shit pretty quickly. That shit needs to be quit very quickly. Tamagotchis are actually not fun. Like, not fun at all. I mean, dogs, like, are people like, let's think, we're the millennials here. Are raising dogs and cats fun? I mean, they have their fun moments, but not fun. But I guess Tamagotchis don't have their fun. Well, they should have their fun moments. Maybe if you can't raise a Tamagotchi, it's sad that there's some Tamagotchi owners who have kids now, and some of those Tamagotchis are dead. But the kids are somehow alive. I don't know how that works. How do you keep a kid alive but not a Tamagotchi? That's quickly. That's a question for another day. The second Mighty Ducks is better than the first. Huh. I'm not a diehard. See, it's hard when you're like which one's better than the other, because I'm not like a hardcore Mighty Ducks fan in the first place. So I like the first one. I like it. I mean, like, what's your favorite hockey team? Well, it's like, well, I like the St. Louis Sounds. I like the Nashville Predators. And then you're like, well, the Mighty Ducks. That's a cool movie. I like that movie, so we're gonna watch that. So can't really figure it. Sister Act 2 is better than the first Sister Act. No, I like the first one. First Sister Act is way better. I don't know. That's my opinion. Aren't they gonna make a Sister Act 3? These are all just movie sequels, and obviously, Home Alone 2 is better than the original. I've only watched the Home Alones a very few times. Now, a little something for you. Home Alone, I will be doing a Christmas movie review on Home Alone, so be excited for that. But I've only seen them a couple times, and I don't know, I kind of like the first one. And also in Home Alone 2, it has a disgraced former president, which I hope gets indicted. And if he doesn't, and I say this on a podcast, it's shown up for the internet, someone's going to bring this fucking up, and fuck you. It was impossible to do any Home Alone tricks without a talk boy. I didn't own a talk boy, but I was having many Home Alone shit, so I'm going to booby trap my own house. I'm like, if I booby trap my own house, I'm going to hurt myself. That's what's going to happen. I'm going to hurt myself, and I'm going to have a bad time. Slides are actually very fun. I'm sick of slide slander. And then this is a meme for the listeners out there. On the left side, it's like a steel slide, like the old school steel slide. And the other side is like a tube plastic slide. One burned you alive, and the other one electrocuted you with static. I'm like, yeah. I always had to deal with the asshole who put on the tube slides because you couldn't see the bottom of it. Some asshole decided, I'm just going to throw a bunch of fucking sand and rocks at the bottom of it. Fuck you. I'm trying to go down this fucking slide. I'm trying to have some goddamn fucking fun. I'm going to put some goddamn fucking sand and rocks down there. Fuck you. And those kids are hopefully in jail right now. Backstreet Boys were actually better than NSYNC. God fucking damn it, no. Backstreet Boys were not better than NSYNC. NSYNC was always the better boy band. And here's what I tell you. The haters will say Backstreet Boys were better because every member of that band sang, like they'll sing one line and then another line would go something else. NSYNC was classic a cappella vocals done right. And you're like, Lance Bass never sang a solo. Lance Bass was a bass. And I know the last name is pretty great. But Lance Bass was a bass. And so if you know anything about vocal singing or like quartet singing a cappella music, you know that the bass is probably not going to do that many solos. That's stuff like that. And so if you listen to No Strings Attached, you think they're going to end that album with a big ass banger that's going to just blow your goddamn fucking mind away. But they didn't. And you think, blow your mind away? I'm like, it did blow your mind away. That is also true. They ended it with a song called I Thought She Knew. It was an a cappella piece, a slow a cappella piece. I thought she knew my world revolved around her. And you're just like, didn't think it was going to be like that. And that's how it is. It ends like that. And then the album ends, and if you have it on like the loop, the album repeat thing, goes straight back into Bye Bye Bye. And you're like, that was intense. That's how the fucking album ends? That's so good. It's just albums created better. And the idea that NSYNC is like, we're broken up now. We're not together anymore. And then Backstreet Boys are like, we're gonna like try to fill our paychecks with older millennials now. And that's what you know. AJ is and always will be the best member of Backstreet Boys. It's Aaron Carter. Like, you know it's Aaron Carter. Like, you know it's Aaron Carter. That is the main guy of Backstreet Boys. Like, AJ is a Joey Fatone. And if you know anything about NSYNC, you know that Joey Fatone is the Joey Fatone of the band. And every band needs a Joey Fatone. And it's okay to be Joey Fatone. I love Joey Fatone. I have a doll of Joey Fatone in the box. It's never been out. And I hope the Toy Story store universe isn't real because I don't like them being trapped in the box like that. But AJ's the best member? No, AJ's not the best member. Nick is the best member of Backstreet Boys. Hands down, guaranteed. JC Chazé should have been more famous than Justin Timberlake. He had, by far, the best voice in that group. Now, I love Justin Timberlake. He has a great solo career. I love everything he's done. But yeah, BuzzFeed, you're right here. Even though, if you're watching this, JC Chazé has the Garth Brooks mic in front of his goddamn fucking face that I hate. He should have, like, you know, we talk about One Direction. I was like, because I was thinking with One Direction when they all split up, it's like, who's going to have the successful solo career? Zayn had a good start first, and I was like, it's probably Zayn. And then Harry Styles is now. I'm like, now it's Harry. And I think Zayn still has a good career. Niall has a good, I don't know what the other guys' names are, so let's just fuck you. But no, I agree. JC Chazé, I'm not saying he should have had a better career than Justin, but he should have had a good career. Like, his music career should have been as good. And I think he should be like, I don't want to do this. And if I want to do this, he does it. And let's just have an NSYNC reunion, god damn it. Why don't we just fucking do that? School pizza was disgusting. It's that square cheese slice. I don't know, I like it. I think I had Sodexo pizza in college, and that shit was gross. But, I don't know, that square pizza, it has its moments. It has its moments. I will say that. It had its moments. Robot animals were actually pretty lame. They did nothing. That's 100% true. I like the idea, like, technology was not far along for, like, robotic pets. You watch Jimmy Neutron, and you're like, he has a pet dog that's a robot. He's like, he just shits, like, gear, like, nuts and bolts and shit like that. And, you know, if your dog shits nuts and bolts, your parents are like, I might be able to, your dad's like, I might be able to use this later, or whatever. But, like, those dogs, not ahead of its time. These drinks tasted awful. It's called Orbits. Yeah, I remember them. It's like, half of this shit, it's so funny. I lived in a town of 1,000 people when I was a kid. And this shit, I was like, yeah, that shit was gross. Inflatable furniture was awful, like the most uncomfortable thing ever. I watched, like, the Bad Friends podcast, and it looks like they have inflatable furniture. And I accidentally popped my babysitter's inflatable furniture. And she was like, I guess that happens. And I guess she was just a normal human being. I would have been so upset if my inflatable chair broke in my room. I know for a fucking fact my brother would have done it. And that's the problem right there. He would have just blown up that shit. These slides at Discovery Zone were more painful than actual fun. My ass hurt than fun. No, it wasn't. I was like, I went to Discovery Zone. No, it was this place called Kaleidoscope. And it was like a crap place. And there was a sketchy guy whom you drew a picture and he'd make it a puzzle for you. I was like, let's give a hand to this guy. And he's just a sketchy guy or whatever. I don't know. I never went to Discovery Zone. I can't talk about it. Topanga should have not given up going to college for Corey. I mean, think about it with Girl Meet World. They did end up together. That's cool. And they did have solid careers at the same time. It worked out. It's you know, if this was the real world, yeah, don't give up your dream college for a man, or ladies or men the opposite way. In TV, this worked out, so it's okay. It's okay because it was TV, worked out. But in real life, no, you shouldn't do. So in regard, I understand what you're trying to say in TV and stuff like that, but real life, no, don't do that shit. Pogs were dumb. I've actually been thinking about making Pogs for like shows and podcast stuff. Like if you want a merch store with Pogs in them, Cancel Schweezy Pogs. I've been thinking about making a lot of Cancel Schweezy Pogs. Pogs were cool. They're cheap, and it's like cheap, dumb things, like, they're fine. It's always like when it comes to the expensive, dumb things, that's when things become not fine. 26. These were fun because you feared you'd run over your fingers. So they're like the scooters you get in gym class. Had 4 wheels on the bottom, 2 little handles or plastic on top and stuff like that. You just roll around on them and stuff like that. It was just gym class fun until you ran over your fingers. There's 28 of these? Yeah. These were actually disgusting, gross germ collectors. Those hand things, that like gummy hand things that you stuck to a wall and stuff like that. Yeah, dude, those things would just fill up with just gunk and shit. After, like, when they're new, they're fine, but after a while, they're pretty gross. 28. These also weren't fun because they barely bounced. Like a Saturn type thing with like a ring around a planet thing. Didn't have those. Candy by Mandy Moore is more iconic than I Want Candy by the Strangeloves. Yeah, no. That song became popular in like the 2000s, but yeah, it's 100% because of Mandy Moore. Recording something off the radio was better than buying the cassette single. Yeah, dude, it was so much easier to do that shit, like back in the day. I'm so happy my parents, and I still use that stereo that had the tape recorder on it that I would record shit on, like on tapes for. It's insane that I'm the one who used that now. My parents never used it anymore, and I just bought them like a sound bar for their TV. You know, like that's a pretty good trade, you know. A TV sound bar that they can use to listen to music on and stuff like that. It's a pretty good trade. Oh, there's like 36 of these. 3D Doritos are not better than regular Doritos. Yeah, I mean, they're the same, but they're just a little different. But like also like, it's also the idea of like, why would I pick 3D Doritos over regular Doritos? But now that 3D Doritos are gone, you're like, oh, 3D Doritos. Now I want 3D Doritos. And that makes sense. Snake was fun for like 15 minutes. Then it was just repetitive. Yeah, and for someone who uses a regular iPod, those games were fun for like 5 minutes, and they were not fun anymore. Like, no, the iPod games were not fun. Like, not the iPod Touch. I'm older than that. These were the worst music players ever. Hit clips. These were hit clips. Hit clips. Yeah, because they didn't play the entire song. Someone stole my hit clip, and like he played it in front of me, and every adult believed that he did not steal it from me. Fuck that kid. Fuck him. I know his name. I'm not going to say it on the podcast. Hit clips were... I liked the idea of hit clips, but then they came out with like iPods and MP3 players, and I'm like, yeah, that's hit clips. Meredith was not the villain in Parent Trap. Yeah, you know, you can't be a villain and hot at the same time. That's just the rule. Ross and Rachel were exhausting and truly never needed to get back together. I said this when I released Ride or Die Volume 2 on my Instagram, but every time I watch that finale of Friends, I never want Ross and Rachel. I don't want Rachel to get off that plane. But if it was my life, if I was Ross, I'd want Rachel to get off that plane. I can't answer that question because that's how I would answer that question. 36 Unresolved Mysteries is by far the scariest television show ever. Yeah, I don't watch that show. It's kind of freaks me out. 37, Nick and Jessica never should have gotten married. It was clear they never were a good match. Didn't Nick Lachey break up with Jessica Simpson over email? Isn't that what happened? That's pretty sad. 38, the edible body lotion was also gross. That is very gross. Why? Who thought that was a good idea? 39, Facebook never should have allowed anyone besides college kids to use its service. I can see that. These playgrounds were only good for splinters. Oh, those are wood playgrounds. I played a lot. I love those. There's a wood playground I went to, like only occasionally. That was pretty big. It was awesome. I loved it as a kid. How many of these are there? Fuck, dude. The Lion King 2, Simba's Pride was not a good sequel. Like, it sucked. Here's what I'll tell you. If you're watching any of the other Disney sequels, this one actually does hold up better than a lot of other Disney sequels. Because the first one was based off Hamlet, this one was based off Romeo and Juliet. And it does a good... This one's it's not as good as the original Lion King. I guess that's very clear. But as far as Disney sequels and as movies go, this one does hold up. Do they need to make a remake of it? No. And last but not least, these were so gross, it's a ring pop. Yeah, the idea of like proposing with a ring pop is kind of cool. But also, after a while, that ring pop's going to get gross. So yeah. I will agree with this. Most of these I agreed with. Like, that's pretty cool. Like, I don't usually agree with most of what BuzzFeed says, but I agree with this. So, don't be stingy, I guess. Hey there, you just checked out a highlight from Cancel Schweezy. Thank you very much. I'm glad that you learned something and that you are now a smarter individual. Just so you know, we have full episodes and other many highlights available now. Click here for the next best thing that you can go check out as well. And make sure you press that subscribe button and press that notification bell. That way you get updated anytime we make a new post or anytime that we make a new highlight or full episode. So thank you, honk if you love butt drugs, and stay awesome.